The Grand Army of the Republic is one of the most notable factions in the Star Wars galaxy. We see amazing characters like Rex and Cody, awesome vehicles like the AT-RT and AT-TE, and of course everyone's favorite weapon, the Z6 rotary.
Say please.
There are so many interesting aspects of this army that we've been lucky to see in the prequels and the Clone Wars TV shows. However, I feel that LEGO is just scratching the surface on adding our favorite aspects of the Republic Army in official LEGO form, which is why today I'll be showing you 21 different upgrades that you can add to your clone army. This will include custom built LEGO MOCs, custom blasters, backpacks, shields, and more. So with that being said, sit back and relax, maybe grab yourself a sippy, and enjoy as I show you 21 upgrades for your clone army. Now, to keep this video as organized as possible, I separated it into 4 sections: vehicles, weapons, equipment, and defenses. Each section brings its own boom to your clone army, so let me know which one is your favorite when it's all said and done. We're going to be starting off with the vehicle upgrades for your army, and one issue I see with LEGO vehicles is the fact that they don't scale well with other LEGO sets and to realistic comparisons, which is why I prefer these alternative builds for the iconic vehicles like the AT-RT, Bark Speeder, and more. Starting with the Bark Speeder, one of my biggest issues with the official LEGO set is how big these can be, and when they do give us a more realistic size, they just look so goofy, which is why I have really been into this build from Jeans Builds on Instagram. I really like this MOC as it has a more realistic size while maintaining a great amount of detail. This MOC has a lot of really cool building techniques that I hadn't tried before, and if you want to build one of your own, I'll make sure to include a link to his instructions in the comments below. Now, I've talked about this AT-RT MOC so much recently. However, it is one of my favorite builds right now, so you know I had to incorporate it in this video. The official LEGO sets suffer the same fate as the Bark Speeder, sadly, in the fact that these things are absolutely massive, which is why I prefer this MOC, and if you want to see how it's built, check out the short on my channel. Now, the Swamp Speeder is a really interesting vehicle that had the most blink and you'll miss it appearance from episode 3, and despite being shown for only 5 seconds, this vehicle has been made into a handful of LEGO sets, which is a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. But some of my biggest issues with the recent LEGO versions we've received have to be the small size and the stud shooters, which is why I prefer this MOC that I was able to put together after seeing some builds on Instagram. It's a little larger in size and the front guns look so much better than a stud shooter. Now, don't get me wrong, I totally understand why LEGO would add this play feature for the younger audience, but MOC builders out there want something with as much detail and accuracy as possible, which is why I really like this Swamp Speeder. Final vehicle is the Devilfish sub that featured in the Water Wars arc of the Clone Wars. We saw scuba troopers and a shirtless Kit Fisto riding these things into the cities of Mon Cala to fight separatist aquatic droids. I have always liked this sub, so I had to put together my own version of this awesome vehicle. And you should know by now that I'll make any excuse to add this shirtless Kit Fisto minifigure into my videos. This next section will cover the equipment you can use to improve the details in your builds and the accuracy to your characters. Starting off with the computer and bin designs that I've used in the past. This computer design was one I used in one of my first ever MOCs that I didn't even feature on this channel. It's honestly pretty basic and a good initial build, so feel free to mess around with it to see what you think and what you can make. And then of course there are these storage bins. I've used both of these designs in the past because they're so useful. These designs can be used across multiple factions in the Star Wars galaxy and are a great upgrade for not just your Republic army, but any other army you may be considering to build. Next up, your weapons need a rack, cause you know I'm a rack guy. This is a really simple build that I put together to hold your weapons and one that can be used in so many ways. Another aspect I feel that LEGO misses the mark on is backpacks. Now, of course, you can build some custom backpack designs using different pieces in your collection to make some pretty cool backpacks. However, I don't understand why LEGO went away from these old backpack designs that I have always preferred, which is why I like to go to companies like CloneArmyCustoms for their backpacks. One of my favorite has to be their medic backpack, but they have so many options that I feel like it really is the superior option for backpacks.
Will you stop that? No.
And if you care about backpacks, you'd likely be interested in upgrading the pauldrons and commas on your clone troopers. Now, CAC has some awesome options for this as well. However, I recently bought these ARC Trooper upgrade minifigs from AmericanBricks, and I really like these plastic pauldrons. And there are other vendors like PrintechWorkshop on Instagram who sell these as well. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you look around and find one that works best for you. This third section is all about defensive upgrades that you can make for your clone army. And this first build is another universal MOC that's inspired by World War II. These defense barriers were used on the beaches of Normandy and can be seen in different forms of Star Wars media. These are super easy to make and look awesome in any build. And another MOC that takes inspiration from the real world is this barbed wire. I actually saw this build in a CoconutBricks studio vid and I thought it looked awesome, which is why I wanted to include it in this video. I think it really pairs well with a lot of other random defense pieces, which is why I think it'd be an awesome upgrade. This defense barrier is another great build that you can add to your clone bases. This is a really simple curve design and one I've used so many times in the past because it's really fun to add those different angles in your Lego MOCs. And I think it's super useful as well. And finally, the last defensive upgrade are these Republic shields. We saw the 501st and MF Doom squad use these in the Battle of Ringo Vinda. They were super cool and super easy to make actually. Honestly, all you need is this piece and you can make whatever design you want from that. It's pretty basic but can be used in so many ways. Now, the dessert of this 4-course meal has to be the weapons section. And the first build is one I've been thinking about since I first saw it when I was 5. This turret from the 2003 Clone Wars Micro Series was the OG turret way before the AZ6, which us old heads remember fondly. And I was inspired by some Instagram posts about this weapon to put this together, and honestly I think it's perfect for any Clone Wars MOC. Now I've talked about it so many times, so why not build a Z6 rotary cannon in Lego form? This is one design that I have used for years, however I have always preferred the custom blaster built from CloneArmyCustoms. I honestly feel like this is perfectly accurate, which is a main reason why I've used it in so many MOCs in the past. And I have always been a fan of custom blasters and have collected a bunch from places like BrickTacitcal, AmericanBricks, and of course CloneArmyCustoms. I have always preferred these custom versions over the Lego blasters, which is why I can't recommend these enough. Now, CloneArmyCustoms also sells mortars, which I think is pretty neat. However, if you prefer a Lego built mortar, then this build is a really good option for you. But if you want other weapons to blow up your enemy AAT, then these rockets are 2 more awesome upgrades you can add to your army. This is a CloneArmyCustoms rocket launcher from the 2003 Clone Wars, which I honestly have always preferred over the 2008 rocket launcher for some reason. However, this is a Lego built version of that 2008 variant. Honestly, I'm always torn on these, but I would love to know your thoughts on them. But did this 21 do something for you? And do you think it'll pop up your MOCs next for you? Let me know. But in all seriousness, which upgrade was your favorite? And what other upgrades would you want to see? Let me know in the comments because I am always looking to find new designs and builds to add to my collection. But if you enjoyed this video, then you'll definitely like my 12 upgrades for your Separatist army video here. And if you want to see some of these upgrades in my clone base MOCs, then check out this video here. But as always, thanks for swinging by the cantina today. I wish you safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.